Induction machines. Induction machine is a AC machine. AC machines are the two types. One is a rotating type and non-rotating type. So induction machine comes under the rotating type, and the rotating type also we have to. One is a synchronous machines, asynchronous machines. Asynchronous machines are induction machines. So asynchronous machines runs under other than synchronous speeds. So induction machines also runs other than synchronous speeds. So introduction to induction machine. An induction machine, it is a single excited machine. Single excited means the supply is given to only one side. That may be starter side or the rotor side. Then it is called single excited machine. But in synchronous machine, we give supply to the starter and the rotor winding. So the induction synchronous machines are the doubly excited machine. In a transformer, we give supply to the only primary and secondary connected to load. So then transformer also single excited machine. So in a DC machine, supply is given to the starter winding and rotor winding. So it is also a conduction machine. But here is a induction machine means supply is given to starter, and so the poles formed on the starter and poles formed on the rotor is due to the induction process. So for a motoring action, the number of poles on starter and the number of poles on rotor must be same. Okay, the second point, induction machine is a secondary short circuited rotating transformer. As in a transformer, supply is given to primary, secondary is connected to load. In induction machine, primary the supply is given to starter and the rotor is short circuit. And here is the same induction machine operate as a motor and a generator. For example, if condition 1, see the condition 1, if rotor speeds are less than stator speeds, the stator speed means stator flux speed or rotating magnetic field speed. NS is the stator flux speed or rotating magnetic field speed. If rotor speed is less than stator flux speed, then the induction machine acts as a motor. Now coming to second, generator. When the rotor speeds are greater than the stator flux speed or rotating magnetic field, then it acts as a generator. No operation mean when rotor speeds and stator flux speeds are same, then there is no operation. Now fourth point, induction machine is a variable frequency machine. As the induction machine is a variable frequency machine. The variable frequency means here the frequency is variation from starter to rotor is different. The frequency variation from the starter to rotor is different. Fifth point, induction machine here is works on the principle of Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. As we know, the synchronous machines are operating at a magnetic locking principle, and induction machines are operated at Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. Now, there is a difference between synchronous machine and induction machine. So this both machines are the synchronous machine and induction machines are the both are the AC machines, AC rotating machines. So here is the similarity between synchronous induction machine is the both works on the principle of both having same stator construction and three-phase supply is given to the both synchronous machine and induction machine. And in synchronous machine and induction machine there is a rotating magnetic field will be developed. But here is the difference is synchronous machine is a constant speed machine, but induction machine is a variable speed machine. Whenever load is increasing or decreasing on the synchronous machine, then the speed of the synchronous machine is same. That means synchronous machine speeds doesn't depends upon the load. Okay? So the synchronous machines are the constant speed machines. But induction machines are when the speeds are increasing, when the loads are increasing, speed slightly decreases. So induction machines are runs almost constant speed like shunt motors. But if loads are increasing, slight difference of slightly the speeds will decreases. And coming to second point, the synchronous machine works on the magnetic locking principle. So as we say, synchronous machine works on magnetic locking principle means the stator flux axis and rotor flux axis are comes under one condition, one axis. Then the synchronous machine works. But in induction machine works based upon the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. DC supply is required to synchronous machine. A constant DC supply is required to the synchronous machine rotor supply. And coming to fourth point, stator to rotor frequency is constant in synchronous machine. Stator to rotor frequencies constant in the synchronous machine, but in induction machine stator to rotor frequency is not constant. The rotor frequency is very less and stator frequency is equal to supply frequency. Synchronous machines operates at all power factor, that means lagging, leading and unity power factor condition synchronous machine will works. But a induction machine works at a lagging power factor only. Remember that it is very important that a induction machine works only at lagging power factor, but synchronous machine operate at all power factor. That depends upon the excitation. If the excitation is given over excitation, then a synchronous machine operate as a leading power factor. If a normal excitation is given, the synchronous machine operating at the unity power factor, and under excitation is given, a synchronous machine operate at a lagging power factor condition. So a synchronous machine, same synchronous machine can work as inductor, resistor and capacitor. So a overexcited machine, synchronous machine act as capacitor, that means leading, and underexcited synchronous machine is act as inductor, and normal excited synchronous machine act as a resistor. But a induction machine operate as only one power factor, that is the lagging power factor. A induction machine is similar to the inductor. It draws the reactive power. Capacitor delivers the reactive power. So induction machine power factor is very less. So transformer versus induction machine. Here is the difference in a transformer and induction machines. Induction machine is a rotating machine, transformer is a non-rotating machine. Induction machine is rotating machine because of there is a rotating magnetic field is there in the induction machine. And a transformer is non-rotating because there is no rotating magnetic field in a transformer. And coming to second point, induction machine secondary short circuited, but transformer secondary is connected to the load. Induction machine frequency is variable from starter to rotor, frequency is variable. But in transformer, frequency is constant from primary to secondary. Coming to fourth point, induction machine from starter to rotor, discontinue magnetic circuit. That means there is a gap between starter to rotor and induction machine, but primary to secondary, it is the same magnetic circuit. So magnetically coupled primary and secondary magnetically coupled, electrically isolated. Here is the starter to rotor, it is a air gap is there. So this is a difference we should observe. Uh, and it is the similarities of transformer and induction machine. Transformer, induction machine similarities. First one, induction machine single excited machine, and the transformer also a single excited machine. Induction machine and transformer, both machines works on the principle of Faraday law of electromagnetic inductions. Induction machines and transformer both draws more current under loaded condition. Yes. If the load is increasing on the transformer or in an induction machine, it draws more current from a supply. Induction machines and transformer gives a 180 degrees phase shift from starter to rotor and primary to secondary. 180 degrees phase shift gives that. So these are the similarities of transformer induction machine, and these are the differences between transformer and induction machines, and these are the differences between synchronous machine and induction machine. Okay, now the topic is production of rotating magnetic field. So a transformer, the question, important question you remember, and you note down here. A three-phase transformer is not rotating. Why three-phase induction machine is rotating? Here again, a three-phase transformer is not rotating and three-phase induction machine is rotating. So why not rotating the transformer and why induction machine is rotating? Because the major difference is in a transformer there is no rotating magnetic field, but in a three-phase induction machine a rotating magnetic field is there. Because of three-phase transformer, no rotating magnetic field, and because of rotating magnetic field is present in the induction machine is rotating. So actually, how to create a rotating magnetic field in any machine? If there is a rotating magnetic field in the machine, then only machine will be rotates. AC machines. So see here, to create rotating magnetic field in the machine, so two conditions, very important condition here. The condition number one, winding must place with the space angle of m by, here kindly correct that, not a 180, here it is a 360 degrees. m by 360 degrees. So in the slide there is a 180 is there, that's wrong, but 360 m by 360. Winding must place with a space angle of m by 360 degrees. Winding must place with a space angle of m by 360 degrees, first one. And second one is the current in winding with a time angle of m by 360. M by 360. Here 360 is because of it is a full cycle. Full cycle. Okay, 360 degrees. If winding space angle, that means condition 1, and current time angle, that means second condition. If condition 1 and 2, that means winding space angle and current time angle is same, then only rotating magnetic field will be developed. So in the substitute in the condition number 1, m equal to number of phases. That means if number of phases m equal to 3, then 3 phases, then space angle is 3 by 360 degrees. 3 by 360 degrees. Then space angle is 120 and current time angle 3 by 360. Then it is a time angle will be 120 degrees. And above formula 1 and 2, the formula is written mistakenly m by 180, but correct it m by 360 degrees. And second condition also m by 360. If m is 3, 3 by 360 equal to 120, 120. Space angle and time angles are same. If space angle and time angles are same, then there is a production of rotating magnetic field in the induction machine. So here what is a, so this is the space angle and time angle. See here. So here is the current time angle 3 by, not a 180. Here is a 3 by 360, 120 degrees. And windings space angle. See here R by B with a 120 degrees. Okay, na? R Y B, the angle between RY and YB and BR is a 120 degrees. And current time angle, the in winding, the currents flows with a 120 degrees phase shift. So the current and winding angles are, space angle and time angles are same, then only rotating magnetic field will be developed. As in the three-phase transformer, there is a time angle is 120 degrees, 3 by 360, then 120 degrees. But windings are not placed with a 120 degrees. R, Y, B, these three phases are displaced in a space with an angle of 0 degrees. And a transformer, the time angle is 120 degrees, but space angle, winding space angle is 0 degrees. So rotating magnetic field is not developed in the transformer, and rotating magnetic field is developed in the induction machine only because the current time angle and winding space angles are same. Now coming to, so this is production of rotating magnetic field. So as we know, space angle and time angles must be same. Now coming to topic, next topic is the construction of induction machine. So in a construction of induction machine, there is a stator, rotor, these are the major parts of the induction machine, stator and rotor. Under stator, there is a stator frame. Under stator frame, stator core. Under stator core, stator slots. In stator slots, stator winding is there. So to understand stator, we should understand the stator frame, stator core, stator slots, and windings. And construction of induction machine, second point is the rotor. Here rotors are the two types. One is a cylindrical rotor, and next one is a slip ring rotor. Okay. Now first one is the construction of induction machine in the stator. In stator, there is a first point is a stator frame. Stator frame. See, this is the outer figure of a stator frame. It is made up of cast iron or cast steel material. Cast iron or cast steel material. Otherwise, it can made up of silicon steel also, but no requirement. So here is the cast iron is for small rating machine. Cast steel is for a large rating machines. Cast iron for small rating machine and cast steel for the large rating machine. A starter frame acts as a protecting cover for the total machine. Yes. So it is the outermost layer in a machine. It acts as a protecting cover for the total machine. And this starter frame provide mechanical support and also provide the protection. It provide mechanical support to the starter core because immediate for after the starter frame there is a starter core. So mechanical support given to the starter core, starter frame to starter core. Here starter frame doesn't carry any flux because in a starter frame like in a DC motor, a DC motor carries the half of the flux. In a DC motor, yoke is similar to starter frame. Here, a DC motor carries the half of the flux, but starter frame doesn't carry the any flux because of doesn't carry any flux. Starter frame. So the starter frame is not laminated. The starter frames are not laminated, but yokes are laminated. Next, after the starter frame, there is a starter core. The starter core is a endpoint area to produce a rotating magnetic field or to produce a flux. So, in a starter core only, the flux will be developed. So, the flux developed means the flux to flow the flux. A low reluctance, high permeability path material must be selected. Low reluctance, high permeability path material must be selected. So, high reluctance, low reluctance, high permeability path given by silicon steel material.
So for a construction of stator core, silicon steel material will be selected because silicon steel material gives a low reluctance, high permeability. A stator core is a cylindrical in shape. It provides mechanical support to the stator slabs. Stator core offers the low reluctance, high permeability path to the stator flux. So here is the stator core. In the stator core, flux will be produced and rotating magnetic field will be produced. So the stator core is laminated to reduce the hysteresis losses. To reduce the hysteresis losses, stator core is laminated. Stator frame is not laminated. Okay. Now, in a stator core, inner periphery slots are placed. So we have different slots. Slots are three slots: open slot, semi-open slot, closed slots. In an open slot, air gap is more. In a semi-open slot, air gap is less. So closed slot, the air gap is very less between stator to rotor. In open slot, air gap is more. In semi-open slot, air gap is minimum as compared to open, and closed slot, air gap is very less as compared to semi-open slot. So it is clear that the air gap is directly proportional to reluctance. Remember that air gap is directly proportional to reluctance. When reluctance air gaps are more, then reluctance are very less. More. When air gaps are more, reluctance are more. Then flux is directly proportional. Flux equal to mmf by reluctance. Flux is inversely proportional to reluctance. Right then, again, open slot, more air gap, and more reluctance. Okay, and flux formula, flux pi equal to mmf by reluctance. Because of open slot, air gap is more, reluctance is more, flux is very less. If you use open slot, air gap more, reluctance more, flux is less. So to maintain same flux in the machine, the current drawn by the open slots are more. Okay. If you use the open slot, current drawn is more. When the current drawn is more, the torque developed is more because torque is directly proportional to current. Torque is directly proportional to current. So clear that in open slot, air gap more, reluctance more, flux is less, current is so to maintain flux constant, current drawn is more. When current drawn by the open slot is more, then torque also more. If you use the open slot, torque is more, and the currents are inversely proportional to power factor because in the formula P equal to VI cos pi, I equal to P by V cos pi. I equal to P by V cos pi. Right, that I equal to P by V cos pi. When open slot is used, current drawn is more. When current is more, then cos pi is very less. So if you use the open slot, power factor is very less. same conditions here in the closed slot. Write what I am telling, that right? Any closed slot, if for example, if closed slots are used in the machine, closed slots, air gap is very less between stator to rotor. Air gap is less. Second point, because air gap is less, reluctance is less. Reluctance is less, flux will be more, because pi equal to mmf by reluctance. Reluctance are less, flux will be more. When flux are more, the current drawn is less. In a closed slot, current drawn is less. When current drawn is less, torque is less, because torque proportional to current. If you use the closed slot, current drawn is less, torque is less. When currents are less, from the equation I proportional to P by V cos pi, currents are less, then cos pi is the more. The cos pi means here is the power factor. When power factors are, if you use the closed slots, the power factors are more. Here in the open slot, the torque is more and power factor is less. In a closed slot, torque is less and power factor is more. But here semi-closed slot produce the partial advantage of, that means if in a semi-closed slot, air gap is minimum as compared to open slot. So when air gap is, now I'm telling about the semi-open slot, right? In a semi-open slot, air gap is less as compared to open slot, and reluctance is less as compared to open slot, and flux reduction or deduction is less as compared to open slot, and current requirement is less as compared to open slot, and so the torque development is less as compared to open slot, and power factor is somewhat greater as compared to open slot. So this open slot gives the torque more, power factor less. Closed slot gives the torque less, power factor is more. And again, in open slot, less leakage flux is more there. It is very important. In open slot, less leakage flux means there is a more mutual flux. Less leakage flux means more mutual flux in the open slot. In a closed slot, leakage flux is more and mutual flux is less. Here less leakage flux means the flux which is linked to only one winding is called the leakage flux, and mutual flux is the flux which links with both the windings, that is stator winding and rotor winding. If you use the open slot, the mutual flux is more, so useful flux is more, so that is the advantage. And in a closed slot, the disadvantage is leakage flux is more and mutual flux, leakage flux is waste flux is more, leakage flux is more and mutual flux is somewhat less as compared to the open slot. And one more thing here is If uh, if you use the open slots, if any winding slot is damaged, then easy to remove and easy to replace in open slot. But in a closed slot, if you use the armature winding, if you place the armature winding in the closed slot, if that winding is burned or damaged, then that winding is very difficult to remove and replace. So these are the difficulty with the closed slot, and these are the easiness of open slot. And open slot gives the more mechanical support. Sorry, open slot gives the less mechanical support to the armature winding. If a armature conductor is placed in the open slot, it is a less mechanical source. Then the easy to uh, move from slot. If you use the closed slot in a closed slot provide more mechanical support to the armature winding. So because of there is some advantage with the open slot and some advantage with the closed slot. In induction machines, we use the semi-open slot. Semi-open slot gives the partial advantage of open and closed slots. So this is the figure of at rotating magnetic field figure. And now stator core is over, slots are over. Now coming to rotor. Rotor is a squirrel cage rotor or slip ring rotor. See, this one is a squirrel cage rotor. First one is a squirrel cage rotor. So this is the construction of squirrel cage rotor. And the squirrel cage rotor, so in a squirrel cage rotor also, the flux production must be more. So wherever flux or rotating magnetic field production will be easy. So flux flowing path is there. In flux flowing path, low reluctance, high permeability path. High permeability material has to be used. In a squirrel cage rotor also, it is also made up of silicon steel material. Stator core and rotor core. That means rotor core. Squirrel cage rotor core also made up of silicon steel material. In a stator, inner periphery slots are used here in the rotor. And second point, in a rotor, outer periphery semi-open slots are placed. Outer periphery semi-open slots are placed. In slots, heavy copper bars are placed. It's not a winding. Here is a copper bar, copper rods. So see that very easy. In a squirrel cage rotor, rotor core is made up of silicon steel. On rotor outer periphery, semi-open slots are placed. In semi-open slot, heavy copper bars are placed. These copper bars are short circuited with end rings. Short circuited with the end rings. The end rings are also a heavy copper material. Not only copper bars, but end rings also a copper material. These end rings must provide a higher conductivity and mechanically strong. The copper bars are connected or copper bars are placed in the slots And if copper bars are not connected or not short circuited from one to another, then there is no current flows in the copper bars. And if copper bars are not short circuited with end, then when the machine, if the machine will be movement, then the copper bars will be disconnected from the slots. So to provide strong mechanical support, copper bars are placed and connected with the end rings. Now coming to sixth point, here is the in induction machine stator poles are designed and rotor poles are not designed. Means see again, in induction machine stator poles are designed. Mean if and rotor is not designed for some particular poles. For example, in any machine, to produce 4 poles on stator, the stator will be designed for 4 poles. That means definite number of poles. If to produce the 6 poles in the stator winding must design to the 6 poles. But here in the induction machine rotor, the rotor is not designed for any particular number of poles, because the number of poles on stator is automatically induced on the rotor by the induction process. In induction machine, stator poles are designed and rotor poles are induced poles. Here, seventh one, the stator is not designed for definite number of phases. Stator is designed for definite number of phases but not rotor. So for example, if 3-phase supply is given to stator, then the stator also designed for the 3-phase. If 6 phases is given, then stator also designed for the 6-phase. But rotor is not designed here. The number of phases on stator and number of phases on rotor may or may not be same for motoring action. So that for eighth point, for motoring operation, number of poles on stator. PS means stator poles, PR means rotor poles. Stator poles and rotor poles must be same. And stator pieces and rotor pieces may or may not equal. Here eighth point says that if a 4 poles produced on the whenever 3-phase supply is given to stator, if 4 poles produced on the stator, that same poles will be produced on the rotor by the induction process. So it is clear that in induction machine, stator poles and rotor poles are same in a squirrel cage induction machine. Again, it is for squirrel cage induction machine. In a squirrel cage induction machine, poles are induced poles. What are the poles on the stator? The same number of poles are projected in the rotor by the induction process. And if stator is designed for 3 phases, rotor may or may not be equal. So if the 3-phase supply is given to the stator, the same 3-phase supply will not project on the rotor, but number of phases on rotor says by number of copper bars under one slot. Number of copper bars under one slot. Number of rotor copper bars under one slot.
That means one slot means starter slot. So that is the rotor phases. If starter phases are 3 phase, if rotor phases are 4 phase, then also machine will runs, but there is a small vibration will be there in the machine. But if starter poles are 4 and rotor poles are 2, then machine will not run. Starter poles will be 4 and rotor poles also 4, or starter 6 and rotor 6, same number will be there. And phases, starter 3 phase and rotor 6 phases, then also machine will runs. Okay, it's clear that starter phases may or may not be equal, but poles must be equal. Okay, now coming to ninth point. Due to copper bar in the rotor slot, rotor offers the low resistance. In a squirrel cage induction machine, here there is no winding. Here is the copper bars are placed. The copper bars, because of copper, the copper is a low resistance material. So the copper bars gives the low resistance. It is a very disadvantage that a squirrel cage rotor offers the low resistance. So, and here one more thing, in between the starter to rotor, air gap is very less in the induction machine among all the machines, because in a very less air gap between starter to rotor, induction process will be effectively. And in a squirrel cage rotor, there is a disadvantage that in a squirrel cage rotor there is no winding, only copper bars are used. The copper bars provide a low resistance. So because of low resistance, these are the three disadvantages. When resistance is less, we know high starting current, because I proportional to V by R. Okay, I proportional to V by R. It is from Ohm's law, V equal to IR, I proportional to V by R. A resistance is less, then current will be more. So first point clear, then high starting current because of low resistance. And second point is low starting torque. It is because of a torque in induction machines are directly proportional to rotor resistance. Again, it is a very important. And a starting torque or any torque in induction machine, maximum torque, full load torque, or standstill torque, or starting torque, these torques are directly proportional to rotor resistance. When the rotor resistance are less, then starting torque is also less. And one more, low power factor. Here from the triangle method, cos pi is proportional to R by Z. Cos pi proportional to R by Z. Cos pi proportional to R by Z. If R is less, then cos pi also less. R means rotor resistance is less, then power factor also less. So these are the three disadvantages in the squirrel cage induction machine. So to overcome these three disadvantages in a squirrel cage induction machine, we go for the another methods, two methods. That is a skewed rotor method or double cage rotor method. So the disadvantage in the squirrel cage induction machine is a low resistance. Because of low resistance, these three disadvantages: high starting current, IST proportional to V by R2. R2 means rotor resistance.
and low starting torque TST proportional to R2. Low power factor cos pi proportional to R2 by 10. So disadvantage in squirrel cage rotor, one is the skewed rotor that can be overcome by the skewed rotor method or the double cage rotor method. Now coming to skewed rotor method. Here in the skewed rotor method, the only difference in the squirrel cage rotor and skewed rotor is, in a skewed rotor the slots are inclined and copper bars are the inclined, not a straight line, a straight inclined to the shaft. When it is inclined to the shaft, so if you want to clear the image, see here, this one is a squirrel cage rotor. Straight copper bars are straightly fixed. See, copper bars are straightly fixed to the shaft. It is a squirrel cage. Now here is a, in these slots are, the copper bars are placed inclined to the shaft. So when here squirrel cage rotor, the slots are straight and here copper bars are straight to the shaft. Here copper bars are inclined to the shaft. So in a squirrel cage rotor here, because of straight to the copper bars are straight to the shaft, the length is in a squirrel cage rotor is less. Here length in a copper bars are the less, more. In a in skewed rotor, the copper bar lengths are more. Copper bar lengths are more. If copper bar lengths are more, then that is a skewed rotor method. Skewed rotor. So in a skewed rotor, the copper bars are inclined to the shaft. Then effective length of copper bars are high. From R to R is proportional to rho L by A. When lengths are more, resistance will be more. R proportional to rho L by A. From this equation, in a skewed rotor, copper bar length is more as compared to squirrel cage rotor. In a skewed rotor, copper bar length is more as compared to squirrel cage rotor. Because of length is more in a skewed rotor, copper bar length is more in a skewed rotor. When lengths are more, resistance are more. When resistance are more, these three disadvantages in a squirrel cage rotor will be overcome. The three disadvantages are low starting current because of skewed rotor, length of copper bars are more. When length of copper bars are more, resistance of the copper bars also more. When resistance of the copper bar, that means rotor bars, are more, then starting current will be less as compared to squirrel cage rotor. In a squirrel cage rotor, rotor resistance is less. In a skewed rotor, rotor resistance is more because of copper bars having more length. Next, coming to second point, high starting torque. Because resistance is more, starting torque also more. Power factor also more because resistance is more
power factor is more. And in a squirrel cage rotor, there is the three effects are there. One is a cogging effect, and second one is the crowding effect. So this cogging means whenever a rotor and starter slots are same, at starting the machine will be refused to start because of magnetic locking in starter slots and rotor slots may be a magnetically locked. This more occurs in the squirrel cage induction machine because of the slots are directly placed. The rotor slots and starter slots are the not inclined, that is directly placed with a 0 degrees. But in a skewed rotor, the slots are inclined with some angle to the starter shaft. Sorry, to the shaft of the machine. Because of some inclination between starter slots and rotor slot, there is no possibility of magnetic locking between starter slot and rotor slot. The cogging means there is a magnetic locking between starter and rotor slots. So this is called cogging effect. And that cogging effect is no in a skewed rotor method, and no crowding effect. Crowding effects also, there is no crowding effect in the skewed rotor method, because in the skewed rotor method, when the machine is running at 1/7 of the harmonics, the machine is stop rotating. A machine is running, and 1/7 of the harmonic, the machine is stopped or vibrated. That effect is called the crowding effect. So in a skewed rotor method, the slots are inclined, so harmonics are very less. In a squirrel cage rotor, the slots are placed to the shaft with a 0 degrees, so more harmonics in squirrel cage rotor. So due to harmonics in the squirrel cage rotor, the rotor use 1/7 of the harmonics. At 1/7 of the harmonics, use vibration or stop running. That is called crowding effect. Because of slots are inclined in a skewed rotor method, the air gap is more uniform. In a squirrel cage rotor, the air gap is not uniform, but in skewed rotor, air gap is more uniform because of rotor bars are inclined to the shaft with some angle. So air gap is more uniform. Here is the air gap is less uniform. When in a skewed rotor, air gap is more uniform, harmonics are very less. So that 1/7 harmonic is very less in a skewed rotor. So there is no crowding effect in the skewed rotor method. Now coming to slip ring induction machine. Now coming to slip ring induction machine. So this will be next.